What's the motherfucking deal, man? Welcome to the den. I am glad that all of you wonderful people could join me this evening. I hope that life is treating you well. I hope that, you know, things are going great wherever you may be. Um, let's get into it, man. If you're not familiar with the den is the best conversation on the internet. The reason why it's the best conversation on the internet is because of you wonderful people. And I am your host, Ed Honcho. It is my honor, most definitely a privilege, and most of all, my pleasure to get to chop it up with you guys each and every evening about a variety of topics and always such an interesting conversation. Tonight we're going to talk about is religion dead. I know yesterday I said we'd probably do the karaoke thing. I'm going to be honest with you, just I don't got the karaoke juice tonight. Instead of talking dirty after dark on Friday, we may have like a free range Friday and may do karaoke on that night. So that way, give people a couple of days to be prepared for, get your song selection and all that good stuff, or, whatever songs you may request from someone. Um, but let's see what we have joined us tonight, the early birds, and then let's get into it, man, and then let's go from there. I have John from New York, Coltrane, what's the motherfucking deal? D, the Gamma, M Grace, what's the motherfucking deal? K Grace, Jen Smith, Miss Bell, Miss Misty, what's the motherfucking deal? Only one lie, K Shonda Banksy, Rashida Reed. Sourberry, what's the motherfucking deal? Just Sarah Brandon 335, Ronald Isley, Heidi, and Brenda Williams. What's the motherfucking deal to you all? All of you wonderful, wonderful people. Let's see. I see toxic femininity sucks. I see, let me see. Trixie McFly. I see McVice. Jason S. What's the motherfucking deal? Let's see. Is there anyone else that I may have missed? Oh,
Face.
I didn't have the dilly dally on. Um, Coming soon. Because I've been toying with some stuff, and I want to do something different. Most of my shirts are just kind of a regular plain design, so I kind of want to do something different. But appreciate the love, Miss Just Sarah. Thank you soon. Oh, and the shirtless dens. I know that I said that I was going to do that soon. Depending on how things go, maybe Saturday evening. Like I said, it'll be on a different platform because I know none of the fellas don't want to see none of that shit, and I don't blame you. But so maybe we'll call it the ladies' den, and maybe we'll do a couple of those. We'll see how they work out. But I'll give you more details on that once some things get approved on the alternative platform. So, like I said, we'll have. See, y'all know me. I always have an ulterior motive. So don't think it's gonna be all sweet, lovey-dovey, and smooth talk. I'm gonna still get on y'all ass, ladies, because I love y'all so much. But maybe I'll be able to keep your attention, and maybe a little bit less arguing. Shannon Jones, what's the motherfucking deal? Eastside Hero, what's the motherfucking deal? Man, Kenneth said he wasn't going to get in the chat anymore. He said he would just listen and things of that nature, possibly call in. He said you guys are terrible, toxic people. Those are my words, but I will check and make sure everything is on the up and up. I know he said he's been busy with the photography business, and like I said, I hope all of that is going well. Um, Danny, if anybody's going to be drafted, it's going to be you and only you, and we're going to watch it via live stream while you run around Iran with like a chicken with your head cut off. No gear, no weapons, no nothing. You just got to figure it out. Uh, like an indecent proposal. Um, an indecent proposal. It may be. It may be. It may be a decent proposal. Slightly indecent. I'm always indecent, even with my clothes all the way on, right? But let's get into it, man. Talk about religion. Is religion dead? And the reason why I bring this up, we've had discussion about the black church, and I think this is a more wide scale conversation because you've seen scams and scandals. You've seen a lot of people leaving religion. You've seen a lot of people just don't have faith in God, don't believe in a particular God. They may believe in something different, multiple gods. They may be of a different religion. They may not be. It may not be Christianity. It may be maybe not be Muslim. It may be some new faith that they've created. Like I say, there's plenty of them. And I'm not saying that you have to be a Christian. I'm not saying you have to be a Muslim. I'm saying you can be whatever you want to, I guess. But even people are leaving all of that. And so that's what I want to get into tonight. I just want to talk about, is religion dead? I should probably maybe put, is religion dying? And maybe with a made the thumbnail look a little bit more evened out. I like to try to make the words sit a certain way. But is it dying? Are people losing faith in religion as a whole? You know, a lot of people say they like to look at the Bible as an imaginary tale. I remember the first time I heard that. I was in junior high. I told you I was raised Jehovah's Witness, so that tells you a little bit about my youth. Probably until I was about right at junior high, really, that I probably stopped going so consistently. So maybe about 12, 13 years old, somewhere around that range, maybe 11, 12. And so, a lot of things were going on. And there was a dude, and he loved fucking B-rated horror movies. And he used to watch the shit out of them. And he had like this crazy collection, but he would always say, it's a fantasy tale. And I was like, wow, that's like the first time I've ever heard anybody say that. Because, outside of, going to the Kingdom Hall and things, I had kids that I played with around the neighborhood. We never talk about religion. We just played, fought, rode bikes, did shit we weren't supposed to do. And so I always thought that was weird. I'm like, you're going to, well, I don't really necessarily believe in hell personally, in the sense that most people believe in it. I just think of it as death. I think it's a wrap. Like I don't necessarily believe in an eternal torment personally. But like I said, there's different religions, different faiths, different things, and no, I'm not a Jehovah's Witness now, and I haven't been in quite some time. So my beliefs have changed. There was a point where I definitely would say, I could say I'm probably not religious. I think that's definitely something I could say. But as of recently, I have been reading the Bible a bit more. And whether you believe in Christianity, whether you believe whatever you may believe in, I do believe the Bible is a good foundation for a structured life. I do really truly believe that. Whether you believe, the stories being told in it or not, or if you believe they're fictional, or if you believe that they're realistic, or whatever they mean. Proverbs is a very good book in my opinion. And then I think there are just certain things that are said. There's a lot of good life advice. I've heard people refer to the Bible as basic instructions before leaving Earth, and all other kind of acronyms and things. So, like I say, that's what I want to get into tonight. I want to get into your views, and then again, like I say, you have, especially with the Iranian thing, you have the American thing. American, more Christianity. Iranian, I'm sure, more Islam, Muslim, or I don't honestly know the difference. I'm probably not going to care that much in the sense of I'm not going to do the research on it anytime soon. Too much other stuff to worry about. Big M, what's the motherfucking deal? So, what I'm saying? And Rolando, what's the motherfucking deal? Let's see. Xavier, what's the motherfucking deal? Josh, what's the motherfucking deal? Yeah, you ain't never heard. I've said that a lot of times. Lamel, you ain't never heard it. I told you that it was you know what I'm saying? That I was a Jehovah's Witness. I've talked about it quite often. So, like I said, you have all kind of things that are going on that I think are making people lose faith. You see, I saw an all women's church. And so, as much as y'all say men do deceptive things to women, women do deceptive things to other women also. I saw an all women's church where a woman was laying on the ground, or the preacher, whoever she was, she died. And she could only come back to life if they received enough tithes, right? A lot of people have said, the tithe, especially if you're a Christian, that part of the Bible was done away with, I think with the New Testament. And so that kind of died out. I always believed that tithing was not a monetary thing, but a sacrifice. And what I meant by that was, that you would go and you would sacrifice, the best of your best. And so what I mean by that, so you have, if you're a farmer, right, and you raise sheep or some shit, or a shepherd, I don't know. Yeah, shepherd. And you go and say, hey, you know what? God's blessed me. I'm going to take the best sheep that I have and sacrifice it, because I know that, this will come back full, because that's a real sacrifice, to give up your best. Money is money. Money is important, but your $100 bill isn't better than your other $100 bill. Your blue face isn't better than your 520s. You know, it's the same amount, and so I don't think there's a real difference. That's just again my personal perspectives. So again, and a lot of you may have been raised different. Maybe you perceive things differently. Some of you may not believe in religion at all. Some of you may not believe in any of it. You know, any of the things. Like I say, I had a definite point too where I was definitely not with any of the shit. You know, like I said, when I was taking some losses, because I was, I kind of went back to my roots. Like I said, and I prayed, and I feel like prayer is just a form of meditation. You know, focusing your thoughts on a certain thing, but and like I said, I just kept losing, and again, like I said, I've done foul shit in my lifetime, but I don't think that I'm a bad person. I don't think overall that I've done anything to permanently. Let me be careful with my wording here. I think I've made more good choices than bad. I think I've done more acts of kindness than I have acts of harm. I don't believe in causing harm to anybody for no reason unless they deserve it. And again, that's why I say, when Culture called the other day and he asked about, am I kind to people, am I nice, just for the stream, or is that, what I believe in? I truly believe in that. If you kosher with me, I'm going to be kosher with you. I'm going to be kosher with you to start off, and if you cross me, then, well, we'll deal with whatever situation needs to be dealt with. So, and that's kind of how I look at it. So, but anyway, I'm still taking a bunch of losses and things were not going right. And it was just a lot. And I'm just like, man, I'm losing good people. I'm doing all the right stuff. And, if there is a God, why would he do these things? And to put it in perspective, there's people who are in way worse situations. I was just in my own, thought process, like I said, just was a bunch going on. And so after a lot of those things, I was just like, man, fuck all that shit. Fuck all of it. You know what I mean? And I started looking into alternative things and wouldn't necessarily say deep off in the metaphysical and astrological type shit. I don't think I've really got into that, but I just kind of changed the way I operated, But then part of that is the way you think about things too. So again, but I think a lot of people are leaving. And like I said, I talked about the black lady who was laying on the ground. Got resurrected once the donations got right, once the tithes got right. Same thing in Africa, right? The preacher who had died in the casket or something. No. The preacher didn't die. Somebody died and he brought him back to life out of the casket. I mean, all these false prophets, all of these fake miracles, all of these things. And the craziness is that people are eating this shit up. And I think it's a lot of foolish people who are eating a lot of this shit up. I don't know if y'all saw the video about the chick who had the dick sucking demon. And that's a whole nother thing. A lot of these crazy things happen in some of these African churches. You can talk about, I told you about the video about the televangelists. A lot of these televangelists I have a lot of questions about. Telling people spend their last. They're going to get blessings if they spend their last. Get that credit card. You can't afford it, but you can't afford to pay your rent anyway. Send that money into me and God's going to bless you by paying your rent. We all know Kearney Thomas. Lord, your personal prayer package, and I think a lot of these things are turning people off, Do I believe that there are good people out there who genuinely believe in what it is that, they're preaching or what it is they're saying or whatever it may be? Absolutely. But like I said, I'm a person, I'll listen. I don't know how many people were here a while back. This might have been about a year or maybe a little more when I told you that the Mormons were coming around. And so I just wanted to hear what they had, because I was curious about their beliefs, So I listened. I talked to them maybe like 2 or 3 times, and then after that, that's about all I could handle. Little missionaries or whatever. And I think a lot of people get the Mormon missionaries confused with the Jehovah's Witnesses. They're definitely not the same. So I listened and I just found it interesting. I read some of their literature and things of that nature.
Just Sarah donated $2 through Super Chat. Honcho lay on the floor and CHHing dollar, smiley face, smiley face, smiley face, smiley face.
I don't know if the congregation is that dedicated. That definitely was some wild shit that I saw. If I lay on the street, they don't think I just have when I disappear from time to time, they're just gonna think I have the thing off. Um, but we 31 deep, man. 14 like. Hit that like button, please. We'd be greatly appreciated. We appreciate the love, just Sarah. And so, like I say, I want to know the impact of religion on your life, or like I say, spiritual beliefs. If you're a spiritual person, a religious person, or if you believe in something different, if you have a different perspective, if you were ever really religious, and you're not anymore, what steered you away? If you weren't religious and you did kind of start getting involved in a particular religion, whatever it may be, what steered you towards that? I think a lot of people are base their faith and their religion and things on that, and why they are a certain way is because of family, and they were raised a certain way, and then it's not even about themselves. It's just about, oh, well, I don't want to disappoint such and such because of whatever ties to that. But like I said, I'm not going to talk for very much longer. Like I said, I know a lot of people want to call in and get their thoughts in. So I'm trying to be more concise with my monologues, so that we have more time. Because like I say, we have the 10-minute rule, and I know people want to get in, and we're going to have the 10-minute rule. And with the 10-minute rule thing too, is that if you hit the 10 minutes, and hang up or whatever, you want to call back, that's more than fine. But I just want to start making it fair for everybody to get a chance to get their calls in a timely manner, because we're all, whether you've been here one day or you've been here, what is this be about 3 years this year, 1 day or 3 years you've been here since the Kush Den, you're a triple OG, quadruple, quintuple OG. It's all love. I want everybody to have a fair shot at expressing their thoughts, because sometimes it's good to hear new voices. Sometimes we're very comfortable hearing familiar voices, and some voices that just may not call in as often. Some people who just may be more listeners. So with that being said, give me a second. Let me open up the line, and I would definitely love to hear your thoughts. Does it still say business in the black community? Ain't that about a bitch? Let me fix that. That's crazy. Let me fix the fucking title. That's what happens when you're rushing. Let me fix this here. That's why I don't like the new YouTube setup. I really don't, because like I said, you got to do too much extra shit to put tags in the videos and just all the nonsense that goes along with it. All right, that should fix it. All right. All right, let me catch up, see what y'all are talking about here. Heidi. Trillion triple OG. Interesting. Trillion triple, huh? Give me some of that advanced math. Tell me what that adds up to. Where are we at here? Okay. Craziness. Just craziness. Oh, what did I miss here? Oh, okay. Okay. Oh, man. Mr. Broderick and Cindy, I forgot we changed them. So I'll save that. I got to check my email there. But again, like I said, a very interesting conversation. I think it would be interesting just to look at the whole scope of things and, where we are in today's society. Do you really believe that people are steering away from religion? Do you think more people are finding religion? Do you think that religion has changed? Do you think that people are changing religion to suit their own personal needs? Because, there are some beliefs that they acquiesce to certain members. Some religions don't believe in particular activities and acts, and some say, oh, everything is okay. You have prosperity preachers. You have, lots of varieties of beliefs, non-denominational, all of these things. Again, like I said, I want to know your thoughts on where these things fall in line. Is the bot not up? Let me put the bot up, so I can get everything done. I apologize. The bot was not prepared. Big Evan said, "I'm no longer a CPT and it's bullshit. Terrible. You want me to go back to Den? The Den starts at 9 and I show about 9:17 or something like that, and then wait on the deal for about 7 or 8 minutes. All right, there we go. It says that's a lie, Heidi. You in here early the other day, and I gave you 5,000 pistachios. You got early birds. And let me see. I've never given you more than 5. Okay, well, let's since Heidi is a trillion triple OG, right? We will hook her up with some pistachios. How many pistachios does Heidi deserve, Den folk? Y'all let me know when we take this call. What's the motherfucking deal? We got calling into the Den line this evening.
Yeah, yes, the nigga done got in early. Yes, yes.
Prepaid. What's the motherfucking deal, man? What's on your mind, man?
Oh man, I'm happy to get in, bro. Cause you know, what I'm saying, my wife got the flu, man. So I gotta do all the fucking duties, nigga. This shit sucks.
Yes, that's tough, man. You gotta.
I'm starting to think, do I even love my kids anymore, bro? That's a lie.
That's
just
wild.
Worthless, shit. Man. They worthless.
You can't subcontract the work out to the kids.
Fuck no. Listen, if you let my son wash clothes, if he don't want to do it, he'll put the whites and the dark clothes all in the washing machine together and bleach everything.
Oh no, that's terrible. See,
yeah, he's a degenerate.
That might be a plot just to get some new units, man. You know, he might be like, yeah, I got it.
Yeah, and guess, but no. He go to school with the bleach spots on his clothes. I don't give a fuck. You fuck up my clothes, you gonna wear your fucked up clothes too. I don't play that shit.
That's tough, baby.
It's rough, man, because you really see the value of your wife when she go down for the count.
Yeah.
Because I ain't have to do all this shit. Like I had to do laundry or cook. Now I got to do all that shit. Then I got to quarantine her because I don't want to get sick. I'm not into the sickness shit. So I got to put the juice by the door, knock on the door, let her get the juice, put the medicine there. You know, it's a lot. But on to the topic, Honcho, man. You made a great point, and I agree 1,000%. I believe that you need religion in the Bible for structure. The problem now is that motherfuckers have no structure at all.
Correct.
I think me and you are about the same age. I think our age group depended too much on religion. We were so gun-ho on religion because our parents made us believe in it, and you know, their parents and everybody was so into it. Like, you were Jehovah's Witness, I grew up Baptist, you know what I'm saying? The problem now is these motherfuckers don't have no religion.
Correct.
You got to have a balance to the shit, man. You got to have a balance. Now, I'm not telling you to live and die by the Bible. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that book is that fucking old, and all them stories relate back to shit that's going on right now.
Correct.
I'm just saying, bro, like, I'm not telling you what to believe in. I'm going to tell you what I believe in. I believe this shit got to be real because in the Bible, it was disease, it was war, it was famine, you know what I'm saying? It was non-believers, it was people who did believe, it was miracles. Man, miracles happen every day. People just too blind to see the shit, you know what I'm saying? You know, a person has cancer, beat cancer, and then they go off and like James Conner, the running back for the Steelers, that's a miracle in my opinion. Like, that nigga plays in the NFL and he had leukemia and beat that shit. So, like, stuff like that, in my personal opinion, is like how the Bible shows you that shit is real. Also, the Bible show you that if you play with God, fucked up shit can happen to you also. You know what I'm saying? So, that is kind of how I look at it. People who tell me that they don't believe in God, I'm atheists or whatever the fuck they call themselves, they always tell me the same shit. Like, well, if it is a God, then why did he let bad shit happen? And I'm just like, not even from a religious standpoint, like, you do realize it's like the good with the evil, you know what I'm saying? Like, you wouldn't appreciate the sun if it never got dark outside.
Correct.
You would never appreciate the great food you eat if you never went hungry. That's just kind of how the world works. It's the inverse of it, you know what I'm saying? And then once you kind of talk to them, pick their brain, they see where I'm coming from. I just can't see where they coming from because it's just basic knowledge, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's kind of like it's like kind of the circle of life.
Yep.
You can't have wealth without poverty. It doesn't. It has to be the two. You know what I'm saying? The two sides of the coin. It has to be there. So that's just kind of how I look at it, man. And like I said, if you use it for nothing else, just the structure of it. The youth now don't fear nothing.
Correct.
Everything is about their feelings. If it feel good, they should be able to do it. If they want it, they should be able to have it. There is no hard work in nothing. There is no type of, okay, this is my belief, this is what I believe, and I'm willing to die for that belief. There is none of that shit anymore. Everything now is, I feel this certain way, give it to me or else. And if I don't get my way, then life isn't fair. Fuck God, there's no God, I don't believe in that shit. Because I wanted to go on vacation for 12 weeks to study abroad, and they ain't let me.
Yeah.
It's a very, very different dynamic. So I think you kind of got to have that balance in it. Now, as far as the actual, like, going to church and shit like that, look, I'm all about going to church. I have no problem hearing, the word of God. I have no problem mingling with other Christians. I have a problem when they become overbearing with shit. I don't have a problem paying my offering. I've taught my kids how to pay offering. When y'all want tithes and money for the building fund, y'all can go ahead and scratch me off of that shit. I'm not coming to that. I don't want nothing to do with that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I don't have a, truth be told, Honcho, I don't have a problem paying tithes. I have a problem paying you 10% of my income and you expecting said amount of money from me. Because let's say, for example, my income were to dip, you're not going to replace 10%.
Correct.
You're not going to, make sure that things are getting things are happening for me in my life. Basically, the church will help you when it's beneficial to them. So I'm not with that. And I learned that the hard way, because when it's time for you to get married, a lot of y'all, when y'all going to find this out, your church home is going to charge you to get married in your church. Just so you know. Now, how the fuck is you going to charge me for a place that I've been basically giving you money for since I was a kid? I have no idea. But they charge you. So it's a no-go for me. So that's my spiel on church. I do want to let you know, Honcho, while I was out hunting, bro, my son put me on this nigga by the name of Roddy Rich.
Roddy Rich. Okay. I've heard of that, but I ain't never listened to his stuff. Word?
Hey, he's special. He's special.
I think he's on a song with Nip. I think that last song that Nipsey did was with Roddy Ricch. I didn't care for the song too much, but I've been hearing a lot of people talking about this young dude. I just ain't never really took the time. I ain't checked out nothing new. I'm gonna be honest, I probably ain't checked out nothing new since Nip passed. I'm be like, no bullshit.
That's the good thing about having a younger son, bro. He a young Thundercat, so he put me on all the shit. Now a lot of the shit is a no go for me. Yeah. But this kid here, I listened to his whole album by 5 times straight. This little nigga special.
Okay.
He's special. Remember I told you about? Remember I told you a long time ago that I told you a young boy was gonna be special, even if he stay out of prison. Yeah. He's special like him, bro. He got it. Some of these kids just talented, bro, and they just flat out got it. Yeah. Hold on. Let me tell you the name of the album. Let me look it up real quick. Hold on. It's hard for old niggas to get them fucking names of that shit. So let me tell you what the name of that first. I'm gonna have you out there looking for this shit all crazy. The name of the album is called Please Excuse Me for Being Antisocial. And when he told me the name, I was like, I'm listening to that emo. I don't hear that emo, depressed shit. You know, new niggas doing them Xanax and sipping all that syrup. I didn't want to hear that shit. He put it on for me. Woo-hoo! Hey, it's quite a few songs when you can be like, yeah, that shit give you that old school vibe. That old school we riding, you know what I'm saying? Just enjoying the city. You gonna like it, bro. You gonna like it.
Okay. We'll check it out then. I'm gonna check it out here in a little while.
Yeah, some for the old niggas to enjoy, man. Roddy Rich, Please Excuse Me for Being Antisocial. Check it out, brother. Hey, text me, let me know how you feel about it, all right?
Okay, that's a bet. That's a BET. For sure.
All right, bro, be blessed.
All right, prepayment. I appreciate the call.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, very interesting what he said. You take the good with the bad. And, and if everything was always good, do we really have free will? And I think that's something we got to think about, too. What's the motherfucking deal? Who we got calling into the den this evening?
Hey, it's Belle. How you doing?
I'm doing well, Miss Belle. How are you this evening?
I'm doing good. I'm glad Prepay got his call in. Sucks when the family's sick. Okay, so here's my deal. I don't really get into religion. I definitely am spiritual and have a good relationship with my God or my higher power. But as far as religion goes, I've learned that that's generally the rules of the church, and spirituality is what your belief is, and to me that's totally different. I was raised on one side Jehovah's Witness and the other side Roman Catholic, so that was a bit of a lot of Christianity. Other than that, I'm not really sure what else to say about it. Do you have any questions?
When it comes to you, but do you think that people are kind of straying away from religion more now than in the past? I mean, do you think that, society is changing in that aspect?
I think what they're straying away from is the financial aspect of it. Is that the business part of what church does and not the spiritual part. I think that that's something that doesn't get talked about, but it's something that's a huge, for me, it's probably one of the reasons I would stay away from a church rather than go to when you expect me to rent a pew. I find that to be a bit harsh. And if I don't tithe because of the fact of what my financial situation, but I put in 10% of my time, which is all God asks us to do, at least that's something that was brought to me, then I'm okay with that. Do I think people are walking away from the church? I think that they're trying to make the churches more accountable. And I think that there's always going to be a mega church, and I think that there's always going to be small churches. I think that people need a reason to believe that there's something bigger than us and that miracles do work, which I truly believe in. I mean, I never would have found this group without a bit of assistance, you know what I'm saying? So I think things happen for a reason beyond just on the everyday walking the earth kind of thing. Afterlife, not so sure about. I'd like to think that I'd be able to see relatives again, but, you know, who knows? I'll have to take that once that happens.
Okay.
As far as again, coming back to the church stuff, I really think that it's more about atonement for them justifying their financials, you know, as the business end of it, rather than just what we get out of it as a religious or a spiritual end out of it. And accountability is what I'm seeing more of. I don't know. I guess it was always on my mind is, you know, me being a female, how can the Pope tell me how to run my body when he's never had any of my female equipment? You know, he's not the one that has to carry a child or take that risk. And so if I choose not to have it, why is he saying no? Because of my Catholic upbringing. And so that would be a reason that I would walk away, and did walk away. Because there were rules that I didn't care for that didn't make me feel as though I was enough of a person. And I think that that might be a reason other people are doing it. You know, that's just my story and I'm sticking to it kind of thing.
Okay. So how do you feel about like the the mega church? You brought that up. How do you feel about the mega churches? Do you think they are, you know, genuine in what they're providing people, or do you think that's more about money and notoriety?
I don't think it's just that. I think it's a social atmosphere, because when it gets to be that big, it's a community among itself. As you very well know, when you go to big, what are they called? Like some of the congregations will get together, you know, and you get to and you travel from your church to another church and things like that. It becomes a lifestyle and a community. I wouldn't call it a commune. I wouldn't call it anything but just what it is that it's very much a social group within the area that you live in, but it's also can have its social echelon in it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Yeah. But it happens within the small churches, too. It's chain of command in any kind of situation. But the bigger churches, you see more of it because, and the more they employ, the more it's like, oh, we need your help, the more it's, you know, so the more it keeps getting added on to rather than it ever being stabilized. It's just more and more and more. And that's just from an outsider looking in. It doesn't mean that's what happens with all of them. But I'm sure I'm pretty close to my 10 minutes. So, but is there anything else?
No, that's all I have, Ms. Bell.
Okay. Well, I'm hoping to hear from everybody else, and I'd love to hear from John from New York, because that would be pretty cool, because being Italian, yeah. I'd like to know if he's still Catholic.
Okay. Cool.
So that's my shout-out for that one, and everybody else is, let's let it roll.
All right. Well, as you know, the bell has rung and class is in session. I appreciate you calling in, Ms. Bell.
All right. Thanks.
Have a good evening.
Good night.
Yeah. Shannon is a sinner, okay? And Shannon's a terrible person. And Deshaun, his hairline, is dealing with the stress of being coached by Bill O'Brien. Back to the topic. What's the motherfucking deal? We got called into the den this evening.
What's good, Honcho? It's J-Mel.
J-Mel, what's the motherfucking deal, man? What's on your mind this evening, Mr. J-Mel?
Shit, man. When it comes to religion, I wouldn't say I'm religious. I try to be spiritual. I know that's cliche, but in other words, I do believe there is a higher power. I just believe we all connected to each other through the universe. We was all created as one thing,
So you believe that there's a tie that binds us all in some form or fashion.
Right. But I did grow up in the church, so I grew up when I was young, when I lived with my mom, I grew up like going to church every other Sunday or so like that. And then I moved in with my aunt in Louisiana, and that was like church almost every day of the damn week. Because she was in the choir, she did Bible study, all that. So, but I do have an appreciation for the church because that's really where I found tapped into my musical talent. But I also had my moments that showed me that religion is bullshit. Like at the end of the day, we all people, and we all got temptations of the flesh, and some people act on those, and some people don't. And some people act on them all the time. Some people act on them every now and then. So
what religion was it that you that you grew up in? What denomination?
So mainly when I lived with my mom, it was mainly like non-denominational churches we would go to. Okay. And then with my aunt, she was Catholic, but at one point, me and her son started going to I forgot what it was called. It's Baptist, but it's like some other shit on in front of that Baptist. I forgot what it is. But Full Gospel Baptist. That's what it is.
Interesting.
Yeah, and some shit that was started by one of those, televangelist preachers from a dude from New Orleans, and that's when I seen it was that church where I seen
Louis the 17th donated $1 through Super Chat. No man hath seen God at any time. If we love one another, God dwelleth in us, and his love is perfected in us. Hereby know we that we dwell in him, and he in us, because he hath given us of his Spirit.
All right.
Okay, now go ahead. Appreciate the love there, Louis 17. 17.
Yeah, if you got wickedness in you, you're a wicked person. And church, and sometimes it could be the pastor. That's the most wicked person in the whole church.
This is true.
And I think it's a reason. If you really read the Bible, it's a reason that Jesus went into the temple and flipped that bitch upside down. It's a reason that they tell you, God does not reside in man-made dwellings. They didn't say nothing about going to church in the Bible. So
you think that that's the man-made aspect of the man-made religion more so than the Bible's telling you to participate in these certain religions?
Right. The Bible preaches that to have God in your heart. The Bible preaches love. The Bible preaches not to judge your brother or your sister. And if you go to almost any church in America, most of the congregants are judging you when you walk in, not showing love. It's all kind of mess being talked in the church. Like, it's one of the most toxic atmospheres I've ever been in. Just being honest. But like I said, there are good things there are benefits to church and religion. Like you said, as far as building a solid foundation for yourself, I think that's very key, or it's very key in doing that. 'Cause I don't know where I'd be if I wouldn't have been deep in the church in my high school years. So, I will agree with you on that. But I think it's more cons than it is pros to it.
Okay. Okay. But do you think that more and more people these days are getting away from religion and either kind of doing their own thing, or what? How do you feel about that?
I think that it's reverting back to its original form, meaning that I think the more casual churchgoer is becoming less of a thing, but I think the more extremist forms of religion are starting to come back, or the more extremist aspects of these religions are starting to come back.
Okay. All right, that's interesting. That's interesting. So, do you feel any particular way about, say, Christianity versus Muslims or Islam or whatever the definition is versus other religions, or do you just kind of focus on your own thoughts and how you operate?
I mean, I do. I read the Bible pretty often. I read the Quran pretty often. I read Buddhist texts. I kind of dabble in a little bit of everything because I don't take anything in these texts as literal. Like I don't believe that a man really had to stick that part of the sea. Like I don't believe that. I think he's speaking metaphorically about some stuff that we don't quite understand. But every story, every parable has a hidden meaning and a hidden lesson in it. If you read it the right way and don't take it as a literal, like this really happens.
Okay. So, have you found more? Let me put it like this. So, have you found a similarity between the Quran and the Bible?
Yeah, I mean, they're both religions based in love, and like Jesus is actually mentioned in the Quran. They just didn't say that he was the son of God. They said he was a prophet. But yeah, they're very similar for the most part about being compassionate, being a good, trying to be a better person every day, and basically devoting your life to God is the premise of both of those religions.
Okay. Interesting. Terrible in the chat. Okay, that's interesting. Like I said, I've never really dabbled or ventured out into the Quran or anything else like that, but I've heard references of people saying that there's similarities between the two. So I just found that interesting to ask someone who has, examined both texts.
Yeah, they're very similar. I think really, if you look at most religions, they're very similar. You start getting kind of when you go to certain categories of each religion, because everybody has like a subset. Like there's Christianity, but there's Baptist, Jehovah's Witness, Roman Catholic. Like there's a bunch of different branches of Christianity. So if you just say Christianity, it's very vague. But I think there's more weird shit going on in certain sects of the Catholic religion. And that, like the Mormons, they believe some wild shit. They think they'll get a planet when they die.
2 gold tablets.
Right. So like their whole religion was started by 11-year-olds. So it's they kind of on some John Jones shit. And that's where you got to worry about religion when it comes to motherfuckers like that convince a whole group of people that they're the next coming, or they got all the answers.
Okay. All right. I don't think I have any further questions. Anything else that you'd like to add?
No, that's it, Honcho.
All right. Well, I appreciate you calling in and sharing your thoughts, Mr. J. Mel.
Oh, I got one more thing.
What's that?
It still fucked the market.
I agree. I mean, I agree 100%.
All right, Honcho, take it easy.
Already, man. Bet. Oh, man. DeMarque is a crow. All right. You know, and he's pure crow to the feather. What's the motherfucking deal? Who we have calling into the den this evening?
What's up, Honcho? It's Toxic.
Toxic. What's the motherfucking deal, man? How are you this evening?
I'm great, man. How are you?
Oh, good, man. You know, life is what it is. You know, no complaints. So, what would you like to share with us this evening, Mr. Toxic?
Well, I'm just noticing that as I'm, in the chat, responding and reading what people have to say, I think one of the biggest problems is there's a lot of confusion about what is and is not in Scripture. Mm-hmm. And then when you get into Scripture, what are and are not commandments, mm-hmm. and what are and are not prophecies, and not being able to distinguish between the two, right? Okay. So the Bible's basic instructions before leaving Earth, right? That's what you said earlier?
Yes.
It's also a book of history, because there are plenty of historical portions to the Bible that can be historically fact-checked. And there's also a lot of instructions in there. Like you said, the book of Proverbs, Ecclesiastes is a great book. In fact, Honcho, in Ecclesiastes, it says, I can't remember the chapter off the top of my head right now, but it says, I find more bitter than death the woman whose hands are like snares, and basically that she'll entrap you, and the only way to escape that is to please the Most High God. But I did notice, and this happens a lot, right? Like, you'll get people that say that the Bible basically endorses slavery, right? Mm-hmm. But in the Bible, slavery means you work. So anybody who works for a corporation, you're a slave. Mm-hmm. You go under contract with that corporation, you have an agreement, you'll do a certain type and amount of work, and in return, you'll get a certain wage. And you can do something to break the agreement, and the employer sometimes, I mean, not in today's society, but used to be able to do something to break that agreement. But in Deuteronomy, there's a law saying that if you, that's where all the, not in Deuteronomy, but there's a law saying that if you were to steal a man and sell him, that you should be put to death. Mm-hmm. So I don't see how that endorses slavery. Mm-hmm. There's a person in the chat who's saying, it was in Leviticus, sorry. There's a person in the chat who's saying that God commanded people to stab women in the belly and drag it across their stomach. And that's something that you could tell that he had heard like on a YouTube video or something like that, because I told him, well, where does it say that? And he disappeared for a while, and then he came back with kind of like a verse that he might have Googled. Mm-hmm. And it was the foretelling of a prophecy saying that because the Israelites had rebelled against God, that basically that was going to happen to them. Their men's heads were going to be crushed. Their women's babies were going to be cut out of their womb. Like, he wasn't going to protect them no more, basically. Mm-hmm. And, the world is savages. That's just the nature of the beast. So I think a lot of the problem that people have is they're confused about what is or isn't in the Bible, what is or isn't biblical law, and what is or isn't prophecy. Because there's plenty of horrific stories in the Bible, but it's just an account. It's not saying God told somebody to do this. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get you. So, what is? Because I know the Bible is complex, and it's a very deep thing, and we could talk about this. It could be a channel dedicated to it. But as far as first you said that people are taking things completely out of context, so not knowing the differing situations. But what is it that you believe is the law?
What is the law?
Yeah. What is God's law?
Well, of course, you have the Ten Commandments, mm-hmm. right? Mm-hmm. But then you can find the law in the book of Leviticus, there's dietary laws. There's laws about how to treat your neighbor. There's laws about how to sell and buy things. There's laws about how to enter into a work agreement, i.e. slavery. There's even laws that go as far as how to wash yourself whenever you have a baby, not to sleep with a woman on her period. I mean, they're all laws for the the self-preservation of the Israelites at the time, especially because they didn't have the technology that we have now. Right? Like, you couldn't sleep with a woman on her period because we didn't, blood to them, you shouldn't sleep with a woman on her period. It's disgusting.
Yes.
But they weren't too sure about blood. You know what I'm saying? And you needed to clean properly after you had a child. They didn't cure meat and things like that. So he had to give them dietary laws. But all those laws could be found in there. And then, of course, most people have a general idea, if not an exact knowledge of the Ten Commandments.
Yes. Okay. So do you think...
Does that answer your question?
Yeah, absolutely. So do you think that over time things have changed, a la Old Testament versus New Testament? Do you think that in modern times that things are different or should be approached differently?
No. Honestly, no. But, I mean, in order to dwell in the society that we're in now, you have to adapt to that. You know, biblically, a man could have more than one wife. They just couldn't be a preacher, they couldn't be a deacon, they couldn't be a bishop. But now, obviously, because of the laws of the land, which we also have to obey the laws of the land as long as they don't go against the laws of God, you know, you can't have more than one wife.
Right.
And there's certain things that you need to adapt to. But honestly, no. I think if everybody lived based on what's in the Bible, it would be a much better place to live in.
Okay. That's interesting.
And people are confused about a lot of laws that are in the Bible. And there shouldn't be a whole lot of confusion because there's nothing in there that says to kill non-believers. And in fact, there is laws saying, not laws, but God commanded Israelites to treat their neighbors with respect. Right? The foreigner, you got to treat them with respect because the Israelites were once a foreigner in Egypt. So it's not saying to kill non-believers.
I find that very interesting because I was talking to my mom the other day, and she's still a Jehovah's Witness. She's very deeply ingrained in it. And the conversation, somehow polygamy came up, and she was saying kind of the same thing that you just said. So I find that very interesting.
I think polygamy would be a great thing if women were in order, because it makes the home a stronger unit. For some people, not everybody needs to get involved in that. Some people shouldn't even have one wife. But the option should be there.
Okay. Well, I am tentatively not opposed to that, you know. But I got attacked last time. I had to have my polygamy rule book last time we talked about that. But yeah, I did. She had gave me some scriptures. I jotted them down somewhere. I got to look into it. She told me next time I call her, she wants to have a discussion about, you know, did I actually research it. She tries to give me these assignments, and I honestly never do them. But because I find this topic interesting, I'm actually going to look into it.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's not for everybody, but I don't know. I don't see no problem with polygamy as long as everybody's happy. You know what I mean? And then there's just a lot of stuff that is in the Bible that reflects upon us today, and people don't ever want to take any of that into account. You know what I mean? Like, all the conditions that people have right now, they're in the Bible. The condition that we're in as a country is in the Bible. All these things are in the Bible. Order will be reset like it always is. And just running from it isn't going to change that, because this is a cycle that happens because we're humans. This happens all the time. What do you think about, you know, as far as should times change from biblical times?
Like I said, and I'm not going to sit here and say like I'm adept in the Bible. And I know, this, that, and the third. But like I said, I do believe that from what I have been, just going across recently, that the foundation is extremely solid. And I think if you carry yourself by certain rules, and again, I'm not familiar with all the rules, but just like I say, the things that I've been reading, it makes more sense in a day to day life. I mean, I think we overcomplicate ourselves, especially in this day and age. Like I say, with all the technology, with the access to everything and everybody and everything that's going on, I think we complicate ourselves. So I do agree that that it could possibly. Well, I do agree. I think it would be a better place if people followed some of the more structured aspects of what the Bible says. I think right now, everybody wants to do what they want, and I think that's why you're getting into all these weird pronouns and all these other weird things going on. And I mean, again, like I say, that's a whole different category. But that's why you're getting all this crazy shit and these people who are delusional and trying to force people into their own way. I think if there was structure, I think that it would make a lot more sense. I think, the world would be a better place.
No, I agree. And to touch on that gender confusion shit, that is actually a product of the devil. Like, if you look at every single horned god through society, including the one we have now called the Baphomet, they're always a transgender. And you can go all the way back to Babylon, and their horned god is going to be a transgender. It's going to have male features with a pair of breasts exposed. That transgender stuff literally comes from the devil. And then I also saw in the chat something I hear a lot, that the story of Jesus is just the same story of Isis and Horus and Osiris and all that. None of that is true. In fact, that story gets replicated over and over and over. It's been replicated into the Catholic Church, but it's not replicated in the true story of the Messiah. Because what they do is they find a way to deitize the woman, right? They all have a mother goddess, and that's taking place of the Holy Spirit. Because in the Bible, Mary was a favored woman. Obviously, she gave birth to the Messiah. But nowhere in there is it going to say that you should make her a deity and that you should pray to her and that she's a queen of heaven. None of that is in the Bible. But that's in all these ancient Babylonian religions all the way up to the Catholic religion, which the Catholic religion came about by mixing those ancient pagan religions with biblical foundation. But the one thing they didn't change is they kept the deitization of the woman. In all those ancient religions, the male god dies, and then after he dies, somehow his wife is mysteriously impregnated, has a so-called virgin birth. She becomes the ruler, and then she has a son by product of a virgin birth. That's not what happens in the book in the Bible. That's not what happened. And the dove that symbolizes pretty much all these mother goddesses, they got that from the fact that whenever John the Baptist baptized Jesus, the Holy Spirit appeared upon him, and the only way it could be described was as a dove. So they're doing everything they can to take as much as they can, cause as much confusion as they can, and people buy into that. Okay. It's not the same story.
So Toxic Femininity, would you identify yourself as involved in a particular kind of religion, or are you just aware, as an individual of the history and the Bible?
I believe in the Most High God. I believe His Son is the Lord and Savior of this world, and that the God of the world is the devil, which is in the book, which is in the Bible. And no, I don't associate myself with any so-called religion. I don't even attend. I've tried attending church. I tried for my wife's sake, just because, a lot of people come up and they think that's what you do. You work all week, you go to church on Sunday. But, I just couldn't, I wasn't feeling it. The last church we went to, the kids were out of control. People came in smelling like weed. And I was like, I just can't do this anymore.
Okay, I can respect that. I can definitely respect that. And like I say, it's very interesting that you say these things. I find them extremely intriguing because, like I say, I was like 11, 12, maybe 13 when I stopped going to, the Kingdom Hall and things like that. But it's a lot of the things that you say because you have a different take on religion than, certain other people do. A lot of those things that you say are very similar to the things that are said at, in the Kingdom Hall, or, well, Jehovah's Witnesses, they don't call it church, they call it Kingdom Hall. So, it's very similar. And so I find it extremely interesting. That's why I was asking.
Well, they have a lot of good foundation in a lot of ways. I know they get a bad rap, but Jehovah's Witnesses, I think, have a decent foundation. It's just that end result doesn't line up with biblical times, and that's usually what happens with with biblical prophecy, and that's usually what happens with all religions. Like, you got people out here saying that there's going to be a pre-tribulation rapture, and people are just going to disappear off the face of the earth, and they're not going to have to go through hard times. But there's no instance of that in the Bible, and it doesn't say that in the Bible.
Yes, I've also heard that. So you're not what is it that they're supposed to be the paradise on earth or something like that? Is that what you say you disagree with the Jehovah's Witnesses?
To an extent, and I don't know a whole lot about the religion of the Jehovah's Witnesses. Just from having conversations with people, and I've actually been asked if I'm a Jehovah's Witness a few times. But I agree with the way that they see the holidays, which are all just pagan festivals. And the paradise will be on earth, but isn't it? I'm trying to think of exactly how they say it comes about.
I think they say, because don't let me lie, because I'm giving this by proxy. It's supposed to be something of the nature where I think there will be the Great Tribulation, and it's going to be tough. Everybody's not going to make it. A lot of people are going to be here to endure that. But once everything is supposedly said and done, those who survive, I don't know the difference. I want to say in God's favor, those who have done the right thing will be here to clean the earth. Then I think it's supposed to be the 1,000-year reign. Then Satan has another chance to come in and scoop folks up, I guess, and deceive people, and then and those who are supposed to be resurrected. That's
what I was. Yeah.
Yeah. The resurrection.
I didn't want to say that and it'd be wrong.
Yeah, it was the resurrection thing. Yeah.
Satan gets, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's not really biblical. But I mean, a lot of their foundation is. I got a lot of respect for. I respect anybody who has their belief as their belief. Mm-hmm. It's just whenever people come at the Bible and start making certain accusations because they heard some YouTuber go off and tell you how it's just ancient hieroglyphs written in a different language and all this other stuff, whenever that's not the case, and then saying that there's things in the Bible that aren't actually in there, or God's commanding people to do something that they're not actually commanding. Because, I mean, all the laws and stuff are beneficial for you. Even down to the homosexuality. Look at all the diseases running through that community.
And that's what I say, like I say, as far as that's what I've come across. Like I'm saying, if you're just thinking about living a decent life, I don't see anything wrong with, what's being said. And I think as far as just carrying yourself in a certain manner. And again, as I've grown and adapted to certain things, like I say, I don't see any real issues with it now. I'm not sitting here saying that I'm 100% in accord with all of those things, but I do realize that if you follow those principles, that you shouldn't be doing too bad. You shouldn't be dealing with a lot of nonsense that people put themselves in on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah, that at least that much is true. Well, all right, Honcho, I just wanted to call in because I've seen a couple of those things in the chat, and people are probably going to be like, no, that's not what the YouTuber said, and that's okay.
Well, that's a bit, Mr. Toxic Film. And I'm glad you called in and just, kind of expressed your thoughts on this subject in great detail. I really appreciate that.
No sweat, bro. Have a good night.
All right, you too.
All right, later.
All right. Very interesting. Very interesting. And that's what I'm saying, and I find that very interesting. He says he doesn't align with any religion. These are just these are his beliefs and what he's read in the Bible. So I find that very interesting. I find that extremely interesting. So And just that's why I enjoy the. I love all the different backgrounds. I love all the different opinions, and I love the fact that people can express themselves and shouldn't feel any particular way because, excuse me, because I feel like this. That everybody should be comfortable, but I genuinely do have an interest in how people feel, and so I find that extremely interesting. So, you know, Heidi the hater. So you down with the cult? No, I don't think he said that he was Christian. I think he just said, he read the Bible, what's in it, what's not in the Bible. So, so I think it's very intriguing. What are y'all in here arguing about? What are y'all in here fighting about? Like I said, I think this has been a. I'm lost. I'm very lost. Y'all pardon me. What's the motherfucking deal, man? Who we got calling into the den this evening?
Well, hey, Honcho, how are you doing today? Doing all right?
I'm doing good. I've been serenaded by the Lady Licious, so yes, I'm doing very well now.
Okay. Well, I just called to say I believe in the Bible, but I don't believe in the church. Because my prayers at home, that's where it's worth. You know what I'm talking about?
I got you. Sign it.
Well, hey, yeah. Okay. I'm done.
So we combining both topics here tonight. We doing the karaoke and is religion dying? All right. Okay.
Oh man, I just had to do it for the one time. You know what I'm talking about?
Okay. Yeah. Already. So I mean, what are your thoughts though? So you say you don't believe in the church, but you do believe in the Bible.
Yeah. Because like you said, there has to be some kind of structure, as well. So as far as believing in the Bible for the structure and everything like that, yes, I do. Churches is so hard because it's just too much fakeness to me, But I admit there's been like maybe one church that I went to was like a rundown, hole in the wall type church, and it made me shout. I ain't gonna lie, they made me feel the spirit. They, everything else, and it was beautiful. I really felt it and whatnot, and made me cry and everything like that, and just kind of felt like, how sometimes you go to church and you just kind of feel like they talking about you, like just that whole session was about you. And it did kind of make me feel that way because I really don't go to church often at all. You know what I'm saying? I've been a couple of times, but I really don't go that often. So for the pastor to talk the way he did and what he said, just really made me believe that I was supposed to be there because it did help me out, But as far as everything else, it's just so hard to tell because I think some people are in it for the wrong intentions, So
when you went to that church, how many times did they pass around the collection plate?
I think one time, maybe. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, people gave and stuff like that, but not much. You know what I'm saying? Because it was really, like I said, it was a rundown, real little church. It was like maybe I say maybe about 20 people, you know what I'm saying, that was like there all the time, you know what I'm saying? So I mean it
Yeah.
was just really, really small. Um so I mean them I kind of believed a little bit more because even, you know, like I said, it's not like the pastor had a real nice big house, you know what I'm saying? He stayed in a trailer right next door, you know, stuff like that. I mean, it was really just like a little community type church. So yeah, but like real like them real big fancy churches and stuff like that is just I don't know. I'd rather go through a hole in the wall before I go to one of them. You know what I'm saying? Because I just feel like it's more realistic. You know what I'm saying? It's more about, you know, what they preach and what they're saying and not how much money they're going to get from you. And I feel like a lot of the big churches, that's just what it is. You know what I'm saying? That's why they do have the real big churches and they driving the real nice cars. You know what I'm saying? And stuff like that, you know? But it is what it is. But like I said, I really don't go often at all. You know what I'm saying? I let my kids go. When we were in Wilmington, they had like this one little church or whatever also where they even came and picked the kids up, you know, and stuff like that and took them to church on Sundays, you know, and it wasn't a real big group there either, you know, so I was fine with that. And they had kids from all ages go there, so that was straight. That's it. Got a little time on my hands. You know, hey, go ahead. Get out. Nah, but I mean, I believe in some stuff. I mean, just some stuff in the Bible is a little bit too far fetched, but like you said, you have to have some kind of base, some kind of, you know, something to go by. You know what I'm saying? And the Ten Commandments is definitely something that you should go by. You know what I'm saying? To keep that structure, to keep stuff and, you know, people in order and stuff like that. And so I believe in that stuff. Like, I don't know about, you know, some of the stories in the Bible. Some of it's kind of far-fetched, but it does teach a good lesson. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, cool. I'll take that. But that's as far as religion goes with me, you know.
Okay.
It's not really too far.
Okay. I mean, nothing wrong with that. I think everybody has their own way. Would you say that you pray regularly?
I wouldn't say regularly, like, but I maybe say about 3 times a week.
Okay. Is it
You know what I'm saying?
is it when something happens, or is it, you know, a specific time, or
Yeah, sadly. You know what I'm saying? Sadly. It's either if something happens or if I feel like, you know, somebody might need a prayer or something like that, then I'll do it. And sometimes, you know, sometimes when something good even when something good happens, you know what I'm saying, I'll look up at the sky and just be like, you know, thank you, God. You know, I appreciate it or whatever, you know, but sometimes you got to just thank them for that, you know what I'm saying, for the little things. So, shit. But yeah, it seems like when you down and out or somebody else is down and out, that's when you pray to them the most. But, you know, I mean, it just is what it is. You know, you got life and everything like that, even though, you know, he probably gave it to you, you know, it's still, I don't know. But I do at least about 3 times a week, like I said. If it's for somebody else that I feel like is in need, you know, just to put something out there, whether he hears it or not, you know, it's just kind of like my good deed for the day type deal. Okay. Hoping that it might work, you know what I'm saying? Not 100% sure, you know, but it is what it is.
Okay.
But then,
I have you know, no further questions. Anything else that you would like to add to that?
No, sir. I'm just playing. I can't sing. Anyway.
You warmed up and ready for karaoke night, huh?
Right. Nah, I ain't calling in then.
No, yeah.
Motherfuckers try to blow me out the water and be like, ah, damn, I ain't calling it.
Yeah, you gonna call
okay.
in.
whatever amateur lady and shit. No, no. Hey, some of these people be calling here professionals and shit. I was like, never mind. I'm done. I can maybe do that like a little white karaoke, you know what I'm saying? But like, shit, me, listen, you go to some of these black ones though, for real. Oh my God, them motherfuckers professionals. I wouldn't even dare go up on stage. I'd be scared than the motherfucker. Like, hell no. You might get some Pastor Troy from me or something, you know what I'm saying? Make a motherfucker look crazy. Like, what? This white bitch no Pastor Troy. Okay, but whatever.
Yeah, you gotta try.
But I ain't singing.
No, you gotta get up there. You gotta get up there and sing. You gotta let them hear you.
I think I would say I used to be able to a little bit, but then smoking and stuff like that, yeah, that fucked me up.
Okay.
That really fucked me up. Cause I used to have like, you know, little talent shows and shit like that. I used to be able to do and get like maybe second place because there was always that one bitch that was better than me. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, smoking cigarettes and then weed and everything like that, yeah, that shit fucked it up. Kind of mad about it, but it is what it is.
Okay.
Maybe one day.
Maybe one day.
Maybe I quit and then be 50 years old and be up there like, you know what I'm saying, Whitney Houston or some shit like that, you know?
I don't know. If you end up like Whitney Houston, I mean, you might have quit the smoking, but you might have gotten to something else. So I don't know if you want to be necessarily just like Whitney Houston, but, you know.
Nah, okay, not like Whitney, you know what I'm saying? I said, I know I'm trying to be the age and look good like her, though, you know what I'm saying? Well, like, you know, before, you know. All that other stuff.
You got like a window. You got like a window of operation when we talk about Whitney Houston. Otherwise, you get into some very dangerous conversation.
Yeah, but her early ones though, I don't know, man. I used to love me some damn Whitney.
Yeah, Whitney was a true.
I don't know. Before Bobby.
No, yeah, see, y'all want to blame Bobby for everything. Look, she a grown woman. She made
right, hell yeah, shit. But I used to love Bobby Brown too. You know, smile pregnant. Hey, that used to be my shit.
Yeah, Bobby was cold. I don't think Bobby don't get, because of all the shit that happened with Bobby, don't get the credit that he deserves in the game. But Bobby Brown was the truth.
Yeah, I don't honestly believe it was all Bobby. I don't. You know, Whitney was Whitney, and that's exactly what she believed. You know what I'm saying? She could say and do whatever the fuck she wanted to, and that was just that. With or without Bobby. So, I don't really blame it on Bobby. I just keep that.
Okay.
But anywho, that was it for me.
All right.
Let me get my ass back. The motherfucking where Honcho, man.
Yo,
you can change these childs back. I'll be missing it all the time now.
No, man.
So unfair.
See, what had happened was, I'm loving the time so much, I might move it up another hour. No, I'm just bullshit. But, but no, I mean, the time, like I said, I just had to make some adjustments with the time on the streaming because, like I say, just in my own personal life, like I say, just the time was, I wouldn't say it wasn't working, but I just, like I said, as I've gotten to adopting a schedule and doing some things, it has made me more productive. Yeah. And so I just, you know, it's still a little awkward for me because, like I said, you know, I'm thinking, okay, I got a little time to 10. Like, oh shit, no, it's 9. I gotta get ready and shit. But you know, it's just it's gonna be like this at least for a minute until, you know, unless something else changes. But for now, while I'm working on other things, it's gonna be 10 and 9, even though that shit don't even rhyme.
Right. Well, that's fine. I guess I can understand that. I'll take it for that since it helps you and your personal. That's fine.
Yes.
I don't like it though. Because I miss it more often now, so that sucks. But I'm trying.
Like I say, you know, hopefully things will get to a position where, you know, either we can, you know, maybe stay at this time, the dens will be a bit longer, or, you know, if things adjust whichever way, you know, we'll figure something out. But for now,
right, I know you will.
They're gonna be at 9.
Yeah, I feel you. I got you. All right, Mr. Honcho, sounds good. I appreciate your time. Everybody else, I love you, bless you, and y'all have a good night.
All right, thank you for calling in, Miss Lady Licious.
You know it.
All right. Have a good day. Already. Yeah, man. I know the time adjustment can still be, a little awkward for some. But like I said, it's more suitable right now. What's the motherfucking deal? Who do we have calling into the den this evening?
This is Miss Grace. How are you, dear?
Miss Grace, how are you this evening?
Good. Listen to Lady Luscious sing. Hilarious. Hey, Lady Luscious, when you lose the voice, you lose it. I used to sing in the church choir. I could hit notes. Now I sing, I sound like a cat getting ready to die, please. Yeah, interested. You always have interest. So, Honcho, you do. You really do. You can make anything good on here.
Well, I'm trying. I'm working on it. I'm trying to.
Yeah, you're good. You got it. But I believe in like God and religion, because I want to, and I was brought up that way, and it doesn't hurt me to do so. Mm-hmm. And I would rather play it safe. I would rather believe, so when I die, you know what I mean? If they do have, you know what I mean? And they said you shouldn't have any doubt, I'll be okay. Then to not believe, and then you die and your ass is burning in hell or some stupid shit. So I'd rather play it safe, and even like some things, some rituals and things that I were brought up on, I still do. Like, I don't know if I told you the story about when my father was stationed overseas somewhere, and we always had to write letters. Mm-hmm. That was something that we did a long time ago. And I was showing off, and I wrote Christmas with the XMAS. Mm-hmm. What? When my mother answered that phone, and I knew it was my father, I was all happy, thinking, okay, he's just going to want to talk to me. He said, put her on the phone, and he cussed me out.
Really?
He told me I better not ever, you mean abbreviate and write XMAS for Jesus Christ? You write it out. Until this day, sometimes I go, and I won't do it. I write out Christmas completely with the capital C, the whole word. I cannot do it. And just like I cannot write our one and only God with a lowercase g, because it's supposed to be a capital G. I mean, the small g is when you're talking about all those little gods. So I absolutely, some things I will not do. And I also believe that people can worship differently, and that God doesn't care what you call him as long as you call him. And coming up, while I was trying to find where I belonged in religion, I've tried various religions. I've gone to the synagogue in Washington, D.C. The synagogue here, you know what I mean? And I studied Judaism, and my grandmother was Jewish, and when I found out about that there was a part of Europe where they kicked, they didn't want the Jews there, so they kicked them out, and they all went to the Cape Verde Islands. So that's where that come from, because my grandmother's from the Saint Vincent, it's called. You mean I've tried the Catholic religion. You mean I've done Islam. I went to the Islamic Center in Washington, D.C., the mosque. Yeah, I've done all of those things, and oddly enough, I felt most comfortable in the Jewish synagogue. And I also love the Old Testament of the Bible. I love those stories. I like that. And that's the section, the Old Testament of the Bible, especially the first 5 books that the Jewish people use from the Torah. Those stories are pretty much in the other religions. It's the same stories. Of course, with Christianity, you get the New Testament with Jesus Christ. And I also believe that the Bible is a history book with a lot of metaphors and symbolics. And like I think that was Jason Lemille said, that the lessons are not to be taken literally. And that things to learn. And I find that people who are truly religious seem to be nicer people and bring more good to the world. That's just my viewpoints in all the years I've been on this earth. And people that have structure and guidance seem to make the world go around much better. They make things to go nicely. And when people have good intentions and they're not pretentious, everything is better. And when you're getting involved in religion, it takes work. in this day and age, people are too lazy to put in the work, myself included. I don't do as much. I don't go to church like I used to go and things like that. You mean, but my kids went. You mean, so they will go back. You mean, when I was younger, we went. You know, so on the riots, you know, they put us in. We went to a Catholic church, and then my father wanted us in the Baptist church. You know, because in Kentucky, he went to church like when we went down there, like damn near every day of the week and 3 times on Sundays. We didn't know the church and we didn't know the Bible and things like that. They're like the kids, you know what I mean, in Lexington, Kentucky. And I don't know if I told you that they put me and my 2 sisters, they put us on the morning bench, put us on display because we didn't know the Bible, and all we did was giggle. We didn't give a damn. We just giggled. It was supposed to be for embarrassment, and all we did was giggle the whole time. But and do I pray? Not like praying like some people can really pray well, but I talk to God. You mean all the time, and I don't use God as an emergency God. And if my granddaughter were over here right now, I can put on the phone and say, tell Honcho what Grammy always says. Like when we go somewhere, right, I always say, thank you, God, all the time. Thank you, God, no matter what. Thank you, God. So I'm going to keep on doing this because it seems to be working for me. My life it feels good. You mean, and like I told you, Honcho, I'm a happy person. You know, things are well for me and enjoy life because you never know when a monkey wrench is going to get thrown at. But right now, you mean, and for a lot of years, things are really good and I feel great. And that's why I say to you, life is grand. I mean, life is grand. You know, but I don't have anything else. Do you have any questions? I mean, this damn phone keeps going round and round. I'm still using 2 phones.
You know, see, you over there, you might be slanging some product over there. Nah. But no, ma'am, I don't think I have any. I don't think I have any further questions.
And I enjoyed Toxic. I knew when Toxic came on, he was going to bring it. You know, and I like that he's really interesting to listen to. Yeah. You know, because I'm still learning. You know, and some of the coolest people are Jehovah's Witness. I found some of the coolest people to be the Jehovah Witness people because they seem to really believe in what they're doing. And so when they would come knocking on the door, I was never mean. I always hear people say, I slammed the door in their face. I did this, I did that. You know, if I was cleaning my house, you mean, I'm like, okay, I didn't get out to go to church. You mean, then the church was brought to me. That's the way I looked at it. And I would stop for a little while, give them an hour, you know, and we would sit there, and my son would sit there, and then my good friend came over, you mean, and we'd sit there and, you know what I mean, and interpret the Bible and talk back and forth about it. You know what I mean? So I'm still nice to them. I would never just slam the door and just be mean to somebody. But, and I find that people that believe, you know, and have that structure and guidance, things are much better.
Yeah, I agree.
You know, and so that's what I'm going to do in life. I'm going to go for what's better. You know what I mean? I'm not going to go, but some people jump on bandwagons and they say the same old thing because everybody else is saying it. You know what I mean? And that's crazy to me. You mean, go through life and see what works and what's good, and you're always feeling your way and doing your best in life, and that's it. You know what I mean? But I have no problem with it, but I'm going to keep on believing because I'm going to play it safe.
That's the best bet. I mean, better safe than sorry, right?
That's right. I'm not taking chances. Heck no. Okay, my Honcho, I will see you.
All right, Miss Grace. It was good to hear from you this evening, and I appreciate you calling in.
Okay, you're welcome. Bye-bye.
Have a good evening. Good night. Hey, nothing wrong with playing it safe, man. And there's some other things I'm going to talk about here when we get to structure, when we talk about these things. What's the motherfucking deal? Who we got calling into the den this evening?
Hey, Honcho, it's Misty.
Miss Misty, how are you this evening?
I'm okay. I was going to tell you that I won't be probably in the den until, let's see, you said you're not going to be doing it on weekends anymore, so probably like Monday, because Trey graduates from boot camp on Friday.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations to Trey.
Yeah, I know. I'm finally getting there. Goodness gracious. But anyway, what I was going to say, coming up, I went to a Baptist church, and it was called Missionary Baptist. And my parents were pretty strict, you know, when I was little. Sunday, you went Sunday night, Sunday morning, Sunday night, Wednesdays, you wore dresses, you know. It wasn't like too old fashioned, but it still was one of those old fashioned Baptist, you know, church and stuff like that. And somewhere along the way they fell off from that, and they just quit going. And they even, you know, before my mom passed, I mean, they were just mainly what you just call spiritual, just, you know, believe in God and have your own personal relationship with God, and God is where you are, you know, not, you know, the building doesn't make God, you know. It's the relationship that you have. But as you know, when I got married, you know, which my husband, he got, what did he call it? He got what's called reproof. You know what I'm talking about, don't you? Because he married somebody that wasn't in the religion.
Yes.
Yeah, so he got reproof. He didn't reproof, where you couldn't speak in the congregation, you know. And so I was exposed to that quite a bit, you know. I know what Miss Bell's talking about, the conventions and the, you know, the big conventions. And the last time that I went to anything that had to do with Jehovah's Witnesses was when we went to Atlanta, you know, when they had that big what do they call that? The worldwide
convention.
Yeah, worldwide convention. Which I'm gonna tell you, it was really cool because you got to see like a lot of people and hear what they were talking about. You know, from different different congregations and places around the world. You know, but my problem is this. There's so many things I don't believe in when it comes to Jehovah's Witnesses because it just doesn't make sense. And then, especially when you stay away for a while, and if you try to go back, you know, and like my mother-in-law, she's very, 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 very into Jehovah's Witnesses. She, you know, pioneers and all that, and, you know, but the thing about it is, like, one day I was talking to her, and she was like, you and Richard got to get back in the hall, you know, and I was like, here we go again with that. You know, because she'll give you that long speech about it. You know exactly what I'm talking about.
Yes, I hear it often.
Yes, you do. Oh, yeah, I hear it often too. And so anyway, she said I got to get you updated on all this, on all the new information. Well, growing up Baptist and then coming into like, you know, the Kingdom Hall thing, the difference to me, and I'm not a practicing anything other than spiritual, but listen, how many times when the 144,000, apparently they're all dead now. There's new ones that have come about. Did you know that?
Through Super Chat.
See, that's the thing.
Heidi scared the hell out of me with her fake news. Smiley face.
Like I said,
smiley face. Smiley face. Smiley face. Smiley face.
Yeah, I know.
Smiley
But
face.
anyway, there's these new ones that have come about though, and there's all this stuff. My mother-in-law was like, "We got to get you caught up on all the new information." Well, to me, it's like this. The Bible is the Bible and it's there. And how in the heck can an organization keep coming up with new information when, you know, it's really not a religion. They call it an organization. They call it the organization, you know. So to me, and they keep coming up with new information. Okay, well, what does God do? Mail them letters? You know, that's what I told her. She kind of got mad at me, my mother-in-law. I said, hey, God doesn't mail you letters and tell you what's new. Oh, yeah, this next week y'all need to do this. I mean, you know, that's the thing that bugs me about Jehovah's Witnesses, you know, is that it's like all the new information coming out, all the new, you know, and it is. It's like, it's kind of like they change it all around to fit what they need it to fit, you know, and I just don't get down with that. So my thing is this: I just have a personal relationship with God. I do believe there is life afterwards, because I would tell you,
Just
maybe
Sarah
I'm believing that just because I want to be with my mom again one day, you know, or whatever. But
Smiley face.
I just like I
smiley
said, have
face,
my own
smiley face,
relationship with
smiley
God,
face,
and
smiley
you
face,
know, I don't have to go
smiley
to church
face,
or whatever.
smiley
You know, we
face.
we don't go to church, we don't go to the hall, we don't do anything. We just like I just pray when I want to pray, and you know, that's that. But yeah, if you all don't know about Jehovah's Witnesses, it would be so cool if some of you guys are interested in them. Like, just I'm talking about just to figure out what it is about. It is like some super deep stuff. They're not all weird and creepy like some people think. You know, it's just that there is some stuff that it makes that religion very, you know, unique in what they believe and what they don't believe. I mean, it's interesting to know about it, but it's just not something that I can really, you know, get into. Because I'm not going to say that I won't take a blood transfusion. I'm not going to say that, you know. I mean, and they, you know, that's one of the biggest things that we have problems in the hospital. But anyway, yeah, that's basically what I was going to tell you. Is, you know, I just.
Okay. Well, the one thing that I'm going to say about when you were asking about reproof and things like that, and I know they have, I forgot the other term that they have because, dang.
Well, it's kick your ass out, but it's disfellowship.
There's fellowship. That's the one I was thinking of because I got an aunt who's disfellowship.
Yeah, disfellowship.
But here's the thing, and the reason
I mean,
why.
Go ahead. You're not exactly kicked out, but you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. I mean, you're put on circle. But I mean, this is the thing because, and I think it's commendable because if you're going to go around saying that I'm this or I'm that and I'm this, well, again, we get back to the standards. So it's saying that, okay, if you're going around saying the name, you know, you're a Jehovah's Witness or whatever, well, we have an expectation of you to represent us in a certain way. And so if you're not behaving according to, you know, what we believe is God's law, if you're out here, you know, finagling and fucking around and doing all kind of shit that would make us look bad, then there's disciplinary action. When you have a lot of these churches under the name of this, that, and the third, and the preachers buying his side chick new cars and doing all this other stuff and sleeping with members in the congregation and doing all this stuff, and nobody bats an eye. That, well, I'm still this church, I'm still this. So, like, to me, I actually like that. I like the fact that there is like a protocol. Hey, this is what we're supposed to believe. This is what, you know, if when you get baptized or whatever, you take on this title or whatever, and you're going out into the community and you're preaching this or you're saying this and you're aligning with this organization, we have standards. And these are the standards that you must uphold to be affiliated with that. And if you're not, you know, then again, like there's disciplinary action. Like I say, you can be disfellowship.
Just Sarah donated $2 through Super Chat.
It's not a
no Heidi.
permanent
I know
thing,
you are lying.
But
smiley face.
I think that's ideal. Like
face,
I think
smiley
I don't want to say that
smiley face.
You know, everybody should
face,
do that because some people are coming into a situation.
Face,
and again, new people are welcome in there too. But it's just like I think once you start to advance and you start to carry yourself a certain way, then I think there should be some type of accountability. So I have no issues with that. I know it doesn't work like that for some people. Again, we live in a world where accountability is kind of a thing that's thrown out of the window. But to me, that's one of the things I actually do like about the way that they carry themselves. There are some things, again, like I said, I have questions too. And like I said, when I talk to my mom, I ask a lot of questions. What about this? What about that? Et cetera, et cetera. But to me, that's actually, I think, you know, more organizations should operate like that, church or whatever it is, because if you're going to sit here and say I go to this and then you out in the streets and you out in the club, but you're talking about I've been going to this church for 20 years, but you still behaving like, you know, you've never been to church ever. You out doing whatever. Then I mean, it's like, well, what standards is this church or these people hold you to? I mean, where you can just kind of do anything, you know? So.
Right. Yeah, you're right. I mean that I think the discipline thing is not necessarily a bad thing either, because it's not good to go out on Saturday night and drop it like it's hot, and then, you know, Sunday morning you get up and act like nothing's happened, you know. So yeah. But that's basically what I was gonna say. You know, like you said, there's so much you could talk about with that particular religion, you know, But they do bring it out, you know, to your attention. And then the other thing, you know, that a lot of people, you understand this probably more so, and maybe Miss Bell and people that have been really closely affiliated with Jehovah's Witnesses, you probably know that the whole organization is
DeMarcus
like it
Johnson
doesn't matter
donated
at all.
$1
They're
through
not like
Super
some
Chat.
church like,
Honcho
oh
are the
no,
future
we don't.
dreads still a
We're
bet.
gonna look down on you
Smiley
if you're
face.
married to this
Smiley
particular race
face.
or that
Smiley
particular.
face.
They just consider the whole thing like I think how it's supposed to be, and I like that about it too. There's a lot of mixed couples and a lot of people that come there, and that's not frowned upon there at the church at all.
Yeah, no, they don't. They're definitely a lot of interracial couples, a lot of different varieties. Because they all look at it as being under one umbrella. So, I mean, like I said, there's definitely not. I don't want to say no judgment. If you're a part of what you're supposed to be a part of, they don't. They don't. Look too further past it. But if you're just not in the community, or if you're not in the religion, if you're not, then they look at you. If somebody is a Jehovah's Witness, they marry outside of that, then they have questions. But it is what it is.
Yeah, that's true. There's all types. But anyway, thank you so much, and I'll talk with you later. And you have a good night. And I've been enjoying listening to everything.
Okay, all right. Well, I appreciate the call, Miss Missy, and again, tell Trey the Den folks send their love and congratulations.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much.
No, you have a good evening.
Okay, you too. Bye.
All right. Looks like we could maybe, depending on how long, maybe one call, maybe one or two more calls before we wind it down. Depends on how long the next call is. But like I say, there's just there's so many different angles to it. Again, it just depends on what you believe. And like I say, me primarily, that's the only religion that I ever do. So I can't really speak for them either, because like I say, I ain't been there in quite some time. So it is what it is. But that's just from what I know. And then, like I say, every occasion when I talk to my mom and I speak with her about things, So that's just my thoughts on that. Other religions, like I say, I do look at a lot of other religions now, and I say, okay, well, what's going on here? What's going on with that? And again, when we talk about standards and protocols, not protocol, but standards. There was something else I was going to say earlier about standards, and it's slipping my mind. But I do think that standards need to be implemented. Oh, options. Because when you give a person too many options, that's when they start making bad decisions. And then we're going to get into that in just a second. What's the motherfucking deal? Who we got calling into the Den this evening?
Peekaboo, you fuck you.
Wait, what's the motherfucking deal, man? What's all you buying, man?
Oh my God, bro. Well, not my God, because whatever. Look, I used to be, I used to have a warped mindset because somebody who wasn't strong enough, to allow me to find my own views, push their views on me. And so, therefore, I was scared into believing in something that I no longer believe in. A lot of people are in this mindset because your parents are setting examples that don't allow you to be an individual because they weren't that way. You know what I'm saying? Like, your individuality is stripped away from you when you have religious, context put in your life, when you have no level of understanding of what that even means. That's a for people who do practice that, that's cool. But you have to be and have a certain level of understanding, I feel, if you're going to go down that road. Know what you're getting yourself into, and don't blindly walk in the shit. And if God is so perfect, why can't he be questioned? I'm made from him, right? I'm cut from his cloth, right? Supposedly, I'm cut from him.
Made in his likeness, yes.
And it's just like, that's just like if I ask my daddy a question because I want better understanding, and that nigga says, "No, nigga, don't worry about that. Just do what I tell you," and I have no knowledge of repercussion or how what he told me actually benefits me going forward, then what use was his information? Why does God have to be in codes? Why can't God be outright? Why can't so many people feel God? And where the fuck is God when you need him?
Okay. And what do you mean by in codes?
I don't like this ain't the fucking Da Vinci Code. Like Illuminati, all that bullshit, man, please. Like I used to be into that shit. That shit's kind of scary, and that goes along with a religious basis because they try to base that shit around some religion, some cult. It's just a bunch of freaks who want to do shit, I don't even want to delve off in that because I don't even want to get off the topic. I just want to be able to relay my own interpretation of what I think this shit means. And for the record, anybody who's ever called me bitter or said, nigga, I'm happier than anybody in this motherfucking chat. Like, not only have I found what most people won't find, which is a soulmate. Like, if there is such a thing, I found that in Courtney, my wife, for those who don't know. Like, I have a woman that not only, like, believes in me, trusts me, loves me, knows I'm going to provide for her. I got that on my own because that's what I do when I wake up at the end of the day, and I don't need God to do it. I don't need God to be no man. Man ain't never showed me how to be a God. God ain't never showed me how to love. God ain't never showed me how to trust. God ain't never came down and showed me shit. The people that is in my life, because humans or organisms that need to work together to even have progress. There's no man or woman who hasn't benefited from having somebody else in their life to help push them when they need direction. So to act like somebody in the sky is swooping down anytime anything good happens to you is to me, that doesn't even make sense. And why should I credit somebody for what I do each and every day when I'm the one who's walking in those footsteps? I'm not going to say, oh, it's a blessing. I'm not going to say, oh, around tax time, oh, it's a blessing when the government said that I would get my taxes in 10 days. And I'm going to thank God for that, for the work that I do each day. I'm a good father because that's what I want to be. I'm a good man because that's what I want to be. I'm a good husband. I'm a good friend because that's what I want to be. I know how to be that. I've been around people who show me what it's like to be good, and I aspire because of the people that I have around me. I have great examples. Guess what? It wasn't because of God. It wasn't because of Jesus. It's because I was willing to put my own I was able to initiate my own well-being. I'm here because biologically my mother and my father had sex. My mother stayed healthy. She has fallopian tubes that I passed through just fine. And I got here safely because doctors knew how to do their job. You know what I'm saying? I was well fed. I've been through various situations, and at the end of the day, we all could be dead and gone at every given minute, and it's not decided on somebody in the Bible or in the sky. You know, I mean, there's no time clock. It's just life. And at the end of the day, I have no restrictions on my life that I once had when I believed in Jesus. And not that I don't believe that there's a God somewhere, but I don't believe him in the interpretation that he is in the Bible.
So what would your interpretation be?
I have no clue. For what I see God is God honestly is just life in itself. God, you can't, I wouldn't even know how to describe it, because to so many people who believe in the religious context that somehow he's some dude in a robe and somehow it's a book written with every single thing that you're doing, and when you die, you in a line behind other niggas waiting to be judged. Like that doesn't even make sense to me. It's billions of people that's still in line if that was the case. You know what I'm saying? Like, and the thought of heaven and hell, like, that's a main reason why people believe in this shit from the first place, because they had people who've been talking to them throughout their entire lives, and they're afraid because they believe that if they go against that shit, then somehow they're stained, they're unclean. They can't possibly be a good person because they don't believe in what I want them to believe in, and that's fear. The reason why you do this shit in the first place is because it's the fear of the unknown. And lo and behold, if something bad happens to you, it has to be God punishing you. When you put bad energy back out into the world and it's just your time to receive it. You know, what you do in this world is going to always come back to you. You can't get no good without getting good back, and you can't get no bad without getting it back. It's just your turn. It's going to happen. That has nothing to do with God. It has everything to do with the energy you have inside of you. Science is a thing for a reason. You have electrical currents running through your body for a reason. You're a carbon-based organism. Like, I mean, like, our concept of time doesn't even make sense. How can beings like dinosaurs live 65 million years ago, but it's 2020? That doesn't even make sense. Like, that, when you say this shit out loud, it doesn't even make sense. It doesn't make sense at all. How the fuck did time reverse itself? Like, when did it start over?
I forgot the whole structure.
It doesn't make no sense to me.
But like I said, I know that there was I forgot what is the AD to BC and all that other stuff. Don't let me sit here and try to break it all down. But I don't know.
Come on, bro. That shit don't even. Come on, bro. That shit Anno Domini. Nigga, all this before Christ, after Christ. Come on, bro. This is man-made concepts made in our minds, bro, that's been fed and been bottom-fed, and at the end of the day, that shit has been force-fed into people, and they are willing to unlearn a bunch of this bullshit that they've gotten from people throughout history who have oppressed them, nigga, and just, it's just so many instances that I don't even want to go down, because I want to stick to the topic, but, like, shit just got to make sense for me. And a lot of the shit that a lot of people are saying, they don't even have no real argument. Cartier asked the great question: if God and the devil are the same. First off, what is the devil? What is that? Is everything bad in your life the devil? Is everything good in your life God? That's what I don't understand. I just don't understand how, like, that concept. It doesn't make sense to me anymore. And when Christians, you know, peace to them, but when they start talking, it just doesn't make sense. The more you allow them to speak, the less sense it makes. And I'm not down in what anybody's saying. It just doesn't make sense to me. Just because I don't believe something don't mean you won't have peace and tranquility. You can pass this message and what I said, and you be like, yo, you can't believe what this nigga said on the phone last night. At the end of the day, I'm going to sleep well. It ain't going to make a damn bit of difference to me because I am who I am, and I'm making it because I'm choosing to make it the way I want it to. That's why my life is already in order. I have order that I made on my own. I'm my own goal. I don't need anybody else to set a standard for my life. I know what I deserve, and the only way for me to get it ain't because of prayer. It's because I put things in motion. I'm around people who know more than I do, and at the end of the day, I'm willing to work with others to make sure that we all get what we need in this life, whatever that is.
Okay. Well, like I say, again, it's a different perspective, and that's why, like I say, it is what it is. Everybody bringing a different view as to what they believe and why they believe it. For those who are asking, this is Wink, a.k.a. the chat is Third Coast Sports TV.
I am not Man Cave. I am not Man Cave Sports TV. She probably got caught on the TV part.
Don't listen to anything Shannon says. Shannon is a bot. Shannon ain't even a real person. That's right. That's a bot. So don't even.
Oh, okay. And I'm not shitting on nobody's belief system. But at the end of the day, nobody's gonna tell me how I feel on a daily basis. I get to look at 3 beautiful children that I'm helping raise. I got my own situation. I'm good to people, and people are good to me. And that's because I learned how to be that way. Nobody in no Bible, no Deuteronomy, no Romans, no fucking water, no fucking tap water that they tried to bathe me in at the bullshit ass church I used to go to when I was young has nothing to do with no bearing to the man that I've become. And that's what I want to say to people. If people got a different mindset, then why the fuck are you so against what I have to say? And why is your way so right when at the end of the day, you have restrictions on your life? I don't have any restrictions on my life. I'm happy the way that I want to be happy. I'm in a marriage that works for me. And I got a partner who's going to last forever. I can't say the same for everybody else who lives their life the way that they think God should.
But do you
And
think
that's my call.
But
And then
are all of
huh?
restrictions a bad thing? I mean, or aren't certain restrictions necessary? Because I mean, look at the world we living in with all the crazy shit that's going on.
Um,
So don't you think some of that shit should probably be restricted?
let's get specific about what types of restrictions are we talking about. Let's go ahead and get into that
So
because I got time.
we can talk about all the pronoun people and where they're going with a lot of these ideologies and things like that. And it gives us a lot of confusion. We can talk about all the gender situations going on with that. Is that something that you would agree with or support?
Let's delve into that. I agree that people should believe in whatever the fuck they want to believe, and they should live the way that they want to live. But at the end of the day, it don't make no damn bit of difference to me, and you don't need my fucking permission to live. So why in the fuck do you care on how I feel about the issue? Because if you're happy the way that you claim you are, then why the fuck did it take you so long to be yourself? If you didn't believe what you was doing was wrong, if you didn't have to question your own reality, then why the fuck are you so hurt by your friends and your mother and father and this and that and not standing by you in your time of need if you're such a strong person and you have beliefs that your own belief and you really believe in your own happiness? It's just people trying to control you, man. Because they want you to accept who they are on their terms. And that's why they don't have any respect out here for the most part. People who don't push their agenda on themselves, and the fact that you're trying to push this shit and you want children in one of the main reasons my children are homeschooled and will never see public school a day in their lifetime is because of hoe ass shit like that. You are not gonna tell my kids and put something on my children that they don't need to know about. My kids seen us watching motherfucking Tu Wong Fu, and my son tripped out when he seen that nigga Wesley Snipes in a dress. Nigga, he was like, that's wrong. And he was 2 years old. And we laughing. You know, the shit is just funny. But that nigga seen that shit. He knew in his heart, he knew that shit was wrong because he sees a man, he sees his father and his woman. We have love. And the fact that he can see that I see how I got here, anything else other than what I see isn't normal. It's normal for him to see a man and a woman engage and have love, and we teach our children love. And at the end of the day, people have a right to live the way that they want. They have a choose to love who they want to love and love the way that they want to. But what you don't get to do is force your reality on me, and I don't have to accept anything that I don't want to be a part of. That doesn't mean that I don't mean the best for you. But what the fuck does it have to do with me? Not a goddamn thing. It's political. It's all political. Don't think because you done pull some money together and some laws have been passed and now, you know, shit is swinging your way that you get to bully me and my children's ideologies and somehow I'm just supposed to be accepting of every fucking thing that you put on the TV. No, it don't work that way. That ain't reality.
I read a particular message. I ain't fooling with y'all. Okay, well that's a BET, man. That's a BET. Anything else that you would like to add to that?
No, peace to everybody. I ain't taking no shots at nobody with what I said. I believe in what I believe. Y'all believe in what y'all believe. You don't have to try to make me understand because you know, people been trying to do that shit and it don't work for me, and I don't care about being prayed for, you know, while I can appreciate it because I know the context in which people say what they mean, and I know it's all good intention. But at the end of the day, you know, do what's right for you. You know, and I'm gonna do what's right for me and mine, and there's no you know, no shade to anybody. I'm still be good to everybody. I'm gonna still be humble. I'm still gonna be who I am. I'm a silly dude, and I want to have fun, and I like to make people laugh. That's what I am. I don't like to see nobody down around me, and I like to be good to people because it ain't a lot of good out here.
Correct. That is true.
I don't need religion to do that. I don't need no religion to do that.
Okay. Well, that's a bit. I can respect that, man. I can believe it. Like I said, I think when I made some of the most transitions in my life, and like I said, it was a time where I had and I'm not religious now, but like I said, just reading things. Like I say, I believe in structure, and I believe in foundations. I think that that's what's most important. And this is probably when I made some of the greatest changes in my life. So I can definitely agree with that and I understand that.
Right. Right, and you know, just make sure you happy. Make sure that you doing what you need to do, man. Because at the end of the day, you got to take care of your own shit anyway. Because ain't nobody else gonna do it for you.
Correct. Well, that's a
All
good
right,
thing.
well, y'all go ahead and y'all take it in. Great call. You know, I wasn't trying to call in, but you know, I was just like, fuck it. I might as well go ahead and go for it, regardless of who got something to say about it.
Yeah, I mean, it's good. It's good to get a
Fuck it.
different opinion because, like I say, you know, everything else I think has been pretty much pro-religion. So it's good to get a different perspective. So I appreciate that.
Already.
All right, you have a good evening.
Yep.
Yeah. All right, we're gonna end it up on that one because y'all know what time it is. But like I said, that's what I love about it. Everybody have to bring their own perspective and their own views, and it's good to have a different opinion because that allows, like I say, people to either debate it or, you know, to either agree. And like I said, I saw some people agree, and I saw some people saying that they disagree. And so that's the benefit of the den. Starting the conversation, having the conversations we're not supposed to have. Talking about politics, religion, and sex and shit, all that wild shit we ain't supposed to be talking about. The den is a sin. but all bullshit to the side, man. I think it was a great conversation tonight. This is something that we may have to dive a little bit deeper into later on in the you know, maybe, I don't know, soon. But yeah, Sweet Berry, I saw you said it was, and I believe it was. Did I say 20,000 pistachios? I got to see who all is in the Discord for the den, and I'll put that link up there for y'all one more again for the Discord and the den. And then what I'll do is I'll go in the accounts tomorrow morning, and I'll see who all's in there, and I'll make sure I put the I'll blow let me see one real quick, and then I'll put your Twanky thousands in there. There's a couple of folks in there, but don't nobody talk yet. It's only me and Culture randomly. Let's see. Give me this. Give me that. Wow. That's the Den Discord. Like I said, we'll get that thing jumping, get that thing rocking one of these days. But with that being said, y'all know what time it is, man. I appreciate the love. DeMarkey, Just Sarah, appreciate all the love. And man, look, let me X this thing out. And Louis 17, I appreciate the love, man. So here is the dealy deal. Tomorrow, 9 o'clock. Yes, I have all the topics for the rest of the week lined out. I just haven't done the thumbnails and everything for them. So I'll probably put the rest of those up for the rest of the week. Let me send in text. I apologize if I didn't check it. Let me see. I'm very bad with the text messages, so I apologize. Let me see. Actually, I had a couple of texts here. It says, okay, we have one text that we have to understand that people coming to church are not perfect. Hello, they're usually coming from healing. People get so wrapped up on the wrong things, like what is the pastor wearing, driving, and what people smell like, and kids being bad. What the fuck? Find another church. You are going to the church based on your own relationship with God. Stop looking at others at their church. Stop looking at others at their church, and we don't have to. We don't have the place to judge another human for who are we. Go for yourself and focus on the word. Okay. And I guess I got to check my email for Broderick's deal. And then I got your voicemail here. I have to listen to it. But it said, let me make sure, because sometimes it texts the messages out, but sometimes it sounds really crazy. First of all, it says, this is Evangelist Brenda Wibbs. I want to thank you. Praise the Lord for what He is in my life. I'm gonna have to actually listen to it, because I think it's when it writes it out, I think it sounds, because some of the words are crazy. They're not making certain sense. So what I will do is I will listen to the voicemail, and then I will put that out. So I got you. I got y'all. Okay. Okay. My bad. I apologize. But I will do one or two things. I will either download it and I'll play it either tomorrow, or I'll maybe post it in the Facebook group, but I'll make sure it gets heard, or I'll decipher myself, and then make sure that we get to hear it. It's looking like it's doing some janky. It's a good little buffer in there. But here's the deal, right? Again, like I say, I was talking about structure real quick before we wind it down. And I feel like structure is important because when you give people too many options, it makes it too difficult for them to make proper decisions. So I think when you give people structure and say, okay, you follow these certain tenets, or you apply these certain things to your life, it will make your life much less complicated. You'll minimize the problems that you encounter, and overall you'll have a significant level of enjoyment. And there's so many things that are going on in the world today that I see when I correlate those to certain things that I read. When I do read them, I say, you know what, that makes a lot of sense. Again, like I say, even if I haven't delved off into some of the other parts, like I say, it's just certain things that I read and say that make sense when applied. So that's kind of how I look at it. I try to look at the logical stuff. Like I say, I don't necessarily get into a lot of the stories and everything else. And again, like I say, I got a shit ton more to learn anyway. And again, but I feel like applying those basic principles can make your life much simpler, and I think that's very important. I think a lot of the stuff that we get into now are just, deviations of stuff that was already in the book. So again, I think people take and pick and choose. I think certain churches pick and choose, and I think that certain other things are going on. But like I say, I'm not a church guy myself. I have questions, and again, I think that, I just think that if it's for you, some people need the more social aspect that's more beneficial to them. I'm not the most social person in the world, contrary to what you may believe. I'm not the most social person in the world, and so I tend most of the time to kind of be one deep. So, and that's just kind of how I like to read, interpret. If you can give me facts, you can point me to things that say this makes sense and that makes sense. You can show me historical accuracy. You can show me these things. Okay, then I consider it and I deeply ponder it. But again, we're gonna have some more great shows this evening. We got a diverse array of topics. I know a lot of y'all wanted to have the Trump conversation, so we'll have the Trump conversation on Thursday. And we might do karaoke on Friday. Like I said, we'll probably switch it up to karaoke on Friday, Trump conversation on Thursday. Everything else being everything else, man. Hey, look, I appreciate y'all. I thank y'all for being den folk, for being a part of this conversation, and everybody chiming in and expressing their thoughts. With that being said, it has been my honor. It has been my privilege, and most of all, my pleasure to get to chop it up with you guys tonight. I look forward to seeing y'all tomorrow night at 9 p.m. Central Time. Ed Honcho HTX on Instagram, Ed Honcho HTX on Twitter to get the newest updates. Den Show Live on Facebook. Go like the Facebook page, join the Facebook group. Aside from that, I hope y'all have a wonderful evening. I'll leave the chat open for a little bit if y'all want to continue to, chat amongst yourselves. I tend to do that after the streams. I try to leave it open for an hour or two, or depending on how long people. If it gets dead and I come back and I see it, then I'll cut it off or whatever it may be. But I put the Discord link in there earlier, so make sure you join the Den Discord. Let's get that thing jumping. Other than that, man, I appreciate each and every one of you. Y'all be cool like y'all be cool. Y'all don't have to go home. But I'm getting the fuck up out of here. Thank y'all for joining me in the Den this evening. Good night and good luck. It's probably copyright. Probably gonna get sued for saying that shit. Fucking up.